Lil Bub. Lil Bub was a cat who looked like nature hit the randomize button a few too many times. She was born in 2011 in rural Indiana with a whole collection of genetic mutations that gave her an appearance nobody could forget. Her body was stuck in permanent kitten mode because of dwarfism, which meant her limbs stayed short and stubby her entire life. But the most distinctive thing about Beub was her tongue, which hung out of her mouth constantly because her lower jaw was significantly shorter than her upper jaw. She also had an extra toe on each paw and eyes that stayed wide and round, giving her this perpetual surprised look. Despite all these issues, Bub lived a pretty good life for almost 9 years and became one of the internet's most recognizable cats, raising over $700,000 for animals with special needs before she died in 2019. Nala Cat. Nala Cat holds the Guinness World Record for most Instagram followers for a cat, sitting at over 4 million people who check in on her daily. She's a mixed breed with Siamese and Tabby in there somewhere, and what really makes her stand out is her blue-gray eyes and the fact that she's cross-eyed. That cross-eyed look gives her this perpetually surprised expression that people can't get enough of. Before all the fame, she was living in a shelter in California, just another cat waiting for someone to pick her. Her owner adopted her in 2010 when Nala was about 5 months old, and started posting photos pretty casually. The internet decided this particular cat was special, and the follower count exploded from there. Now, she's got her own line of products and has raised money for animal shelters. Grumpy Cat. Grumpy Cat, whose actual name was Tartar Sauce, became the face of internet grumpiness in 2012 when her owner's brother posted a photo on Reddit. Her permanently scowling expression wasn't an act or photoshopped. It was the result of feline dwarfism and an underbite that gave her that iconic look. Within days, the image went viral, and people started slapping captions on her face about hating Mondays, disapproving of everything, and generally being miserable. The cat became a brand almost overnight. There were calendars, plush toys, a book deal, and even a Grumpy Cat movie. Her owners estimated the empire was worth several $1,000,000. The real cat behind the memes was reportedly sweet-tempered, which makes the whole thing kind of ironic. She passed away in 2019, but the memes live on. Colonel Meow. Colonel Meow was a Himalayan Persian mix who looked perpetually furious, and his fur was absolutely ridiculous. We're talking 9 inches long, which earned him a Guinness World Record for the longest cat fur ever recorded. That's not just fluffy, that's nearly the length of a standard piece of printer paper hanging off his body. His coat required daily grooming sessions because without them, he'd turn into one massive tangle of matted hair. His owners had to brush him every single day just to keep him from becoming a walking felted disaster. The angry expression was just his face, a combination of his breed's flat features and some serious resting scowl, but it made him internet famous. People loved the contrast of this tiny rage-faced creature buried under all that luxurious high-maintenance fluff. Venus the Two-Faced Cat. Venus is a cat whose face looks like someone photoshopped 2 different cats together and hit paste right down the center line. One half of her face is orange tabby with typical stripes and markings, while the other half is solid black. The split is nearly perfect, running straight from her forehead down through her nose to her chin. Her eyes match the pattern too. One blue, one green. This happens because she's what's called a chimera, meaning she's technically formed from 2 embryos that fuse together early in development. Each side of her body carries different genetic instructions, so you get this stark division in color. Most chimera cats show subtle mixing or patches, but Venus hit the genetic lottery with an almost surgical split that makes her look like a living Rorschach test. Maru. Maru is a Scottish fold who lives in Japan and somehow became the most famous cat on the entire internet. His channel has racked up hundreds of millions of views, which is absurd when you think about it, but there's a good reason. This cat is completely obsessed with boxes. Any box, really. Big boxes, medium boxes, tiny boxes that clearly won't fit him. He'll see a box and immediately try to cram himself into it, no matter the size. The videos show him sliding across floors at full speed to dive into boxes, attempting to squeeze into containers half his width, and succeeding more often than physics would suggest. His determination is what makes it funny. He never gives up. Hamilton, the hipster cat. Hamilton is an American shorthair with a genetic quirk that turned him into internet royalty. He's got pure white fur markings on his face that form what looks exactly like a handlebar mustache, the kind you'd see twirled on some Victorian gentleman or a modern hipster at a craft brewery. The pattern is so precise and symmetrical it almost looks painted on. His owner started dressing him up in bow ties, fedoras, and miniature blazers, then photographing him in these elaborate styled shoots. The whole vibe is Dapper Cat with an old-timey aesthetic. People went absolutely wild for it. Hamilton racked up over 800,000 followers on Instagram before his death in 2021, proving that sometimes all you need to become famous is the right facial hair and a decent photographer. Monty the cat. Monty was a ginger and white cat born in Copenhagen with a chromosomal abnormality that left him without a nasal bridge. Instead of the typical feline profile, his face was completely flat, almost as if someone had gently pressed it in. His eyes were wide set, and he had a permanent expression that made him look perpetually surprised or curious. Because of his condition, he also sneezed more than normal cats and had some bladder issues, which meant he needed extra care. His owners adopted him from a shelter in 2012 and started sharing photos of him online. People were immediately drawn to his unique look and gentle personality. Monty became a social media sensation and helped change how people viewed pets with disabilities. He showed that animals born different could live happy lives and deserved homes just as much as any other cat. Kobe the cat. Kobe is a British shorthair from New York who basically won the genetic lottery when it comes to cat looks. His most striking feature is his eyes, which are this incredibly bright, almost electric blue color that just pops against his pure white fur. They're huge too, way bigger and rounder than what you'd see on most cats, which gives him this permanently surprised, wide-eyed expression that people can't get enough of. His coat is pristine white, no patches or spots, just solid white everywhere, and British Shorthairs already have that plush, dense fur that looks extra soft. His owner started posting photos of him on Instagram back in 2015, and he blew up pretty quickly. And at this point, he's got millions of followers across different platforms. People describe his eyes as looking almost unreal, like they've been edited, but that's just how they look in person. Suki the cat. Suki is a Bengal cat who's traveled to more countries than most people ever will. Her owners started taking her on outdoor adventures as a kitten, getting her used to wearing a harness and riding in kayaks. Now she goes everywhere with them. We're talking hiking through Canadian forests, kayaking across turquoise lakes, posing on mountain peaks in the Swiss Alps. The photos are genuinely stunning because her owners are skilled photographers, and Suki just sits there calmly in these incredible locations like it's the most normal thing in the world. Most cats would freak out, but Bengals are a breed that tends to be more adventurous and dog-like in temperament. Suki's Instagram account has millions of followers who watch her travel to places like Norway, Iceland, and various national parks across North America.